Good morning, and welcome to another Writer's Morning Commute. Today we're going to be talking about Breaking Bad Season 3. I've been trucking right along in my Breaking Bad rewatch, and last week I finished the third season, which had a lot of discrepancies with how I remembered it. One of the biggest discrepancies was around Jesse. And you may remember that in an earlier video I talked about how I remembered liking how the series kind of shifted protagonist from Walt to Jesse as Walt became more and more of a kind of fell into being a bad guy. Jesse kind of rose up and became more and more of a good guy. And at this point, enough of the series has kind of surprised me in how long certain people were part of the show, or how long, just different things that I didn't quite remember quite right, that I'm gonna, admit that maybe I was wrong about that. I don't know. We'll see how I feel after the rest of Season 4 and 5. But with Season 3 specifically, I remembered, I thought at least, that Jesse was a lot more of a good guy than he was. But it starts out the season in rehab, mourning the death of Jane. And then the first thing he really does once he kind of gets out of that depression is he starts selling meth at his rehab meetings. Like, he specifically has his friends target these other people who are trying to better themselves. And he spends quite a bit of the season with that as his goal. And it continues to be his goal until, I don't know, maybe 2/3 of the way through the season or so, when he meets Andrea, and even then, he's trying to sell her meth, despite her being at these rehab meetings, until he finds out that she has a kid. And we've seen before how much he likes kids. We've seen it with his little brother. We've seen it with the child, the little ginger kid, from the very intense ATM episode. So we've seen how much he likes kids in the past. So giving him the situation where selling meth to this woman will affect a kid kind of snaps him out of it. And maybe I was giving him more credit for that or something, I don't know. And from there, of course, we find out that Andrea's little brother Tomas was the one who killed Combo, and that using children kind of fuels Jesse's interests for the rest of the season. And he's trying to get, revenge on people who are abusing children. So, in thinking about all this, I was asking myself, why did I have this memory? Why did I remember Jesse being such a good guy? And I think part of it is just remembering later in the series. Like, I do think he becomes more of a good guy. I think he betters himself as pretty much like right into the stuff I'm getting to right now, once him and Andrea become more of a long-term thing. But I don't really remember for sure. But based on what I have seen so far, what I can say is that I think he's one of the better people by comparison. And I feel like this is a trick that writers can use to really help us to like less likable characters. It's kind of a similar thing with The Punisher, where you take a character who maybe isolated the audience wouldn't want to sympathize with, who they, there might be lots of things about them we don't like. But if you surround them by other people who are even worse, and you at least give us a little something of goodness to latch onto, then we're going to start cheering for this character, as long as they're working against the even worse people, as long as they're active in this world of horrible and terrible people. This pretty bad person is going to look like a saint by comparison. So, hopefully that's something you can use in your writing. I'm going to call that a morning here. Hope you have a great day. Thank you for hanging out with me.